This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This morning, let us explore your meditation made you cry? Good. Followed by meditating like a Jedi. When I was a little boy, a survivor of brutal child abuse, I somehow got it in my head that spirituality was supposed to make us stoic, supposed to make us like Mr. Spock on Star Trek, the original series. And I was incorrect. Let's take a deeper look at this. Whoops. Let's see here. We'll begin with mindfulness. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, which could be described as the hub of our sympathetic nervous system. It has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. It has evolved to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings. All of them, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. But what are we to do with that which we notice? In a word, meditation. You see, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the tippy top and the very bottom of that same spinal cord. These two extremes, working as a team, could be described as the hub of our parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release during each exhalation to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining. In fact, as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although could look tantalizing to the eye, could wind up feeling as non-graspable I should say, although it could look tantalizing to the eye, it could feel non-graspable to the hand. When we successfully cooperate with both our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, which as a team we could describe as our autonomic nervous system, the aggression and the anger of our amygdala is calmed, and the empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus is gently stimulated. Vulnerability could sound like a pain in the ass, but it's the key to mindfulness, which is the key to meditation, which is the key to healing. Now, healing is not forgetting. Healing is merely processing trauma into memory. When events occur, if they are not processed by your hippocampus, they are experienced as the present moment, regardless of how many years or decades have elapsed. Now, getting into a club on a Friday night might require you tipping the bouncer or doorman a C note. What's the price we pay to get our hippocampus to allow our experiences into long-term memory so we stop experiencing traumas as current events? Vulnerability, mindfulness, meditation, vulnerability, and relaxation. That's the price we pay. Simply meditating does not cause our past traumas to disappear like a trick performed by Harry Potter. But it does stop our past traumas from controlling our choices and our utterances and our deeds. The more we practice mindfulness and meditation, at least every 12 hours or so, the more our choices and utterances and deeds flow, not from calculated contrivance, not from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. This is known by many names. Some might call it right effort, or effortless effort, or wu wei, or doing without doing, or going with the flow, or being in the zone. This does not excise our traumas, but it helps to tame them. So instead of harming us, they help us. They strengthen our empathy. They help us to understand that the people in our lives, people who vote for fascists, the people who vote for racism and sexism and jingoism and fascism, are not evil. They're the product of propaganda and conditioning and their own personal traumas. Our trauma can serve as the fertilizer from which the rose flower of empathy can grow. This compassionate compost does not come from hating our trauma. It does not come from telling ourselves stories about our trauma. It comes from noticing the spontaneous memories and fantasies informed by trauma as they spontaneously cartwheel across the stage of our mind, and then relaxing as best we can during our exhalation. Believe it or not, this is how all complex life forms have evolved to process trauma. Ask a zoologist. They will tell you that after a ruminant has outrun a predator, they will, as a rule, once they feel that they are safe, they will lay down, they will have a dream, they will go into a REM cycle, they will twitch, they will wake up, have a snack, and be fine. Our autonomic nervous system is a wonderful tool to deal with this, what Shakespeare described as the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. For humans, we have a hurdle, and here's how the hurdle works. Ask an anthropologist, ask an archaeologist, and they will tell you that literally evidence has been unearthed. Get that? See what I did there? That approximately 300,000 years ago, our Paleolithic ancestors lived in a type of proto-communism where they were trained to be flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative kind. And dealing with life's vicissitudes was much easier. However, about 13,000 years ago, during the Neolithic Revolution, there was an advent of proto-capitalism that turned human society on its head and began conditioning human society to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. This rigidity, this controllingness, caused us to habitually and actively compete against our own autonomic nervous system. When we sit in meditation, noticing and relaxing in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation, we are taking a relaxing break from the exhausting habit of actively competing against our autonomic nervous system, and instead passively and vulnerably cooperating with it. Weeping during meditation is evidence that our brain, our central nervous system, is processing trauma. Having memories or confabulations that spark anger as you sit in meditation is a sign of the exact same process, that our central nervous system is processing stuff. Like the plumber who uses a electric snake to clean a clogged toilet. Meditation just gets in there and helps us work through things. Sometimes you'll find yourself laughing during meditation. Sometimes you'll find yourself crying during meditation. Sometimes you'll find yourself experiencing great rage during meditation. These things are not indictments. Our job is not to actively focus and actively analyze during meditation. Doing so just exhausts the dorsolateral and medial prefrontal cortices. Our job is to cooperate with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems in a way that calms our amygdala, in a way that gently stimulates our anterior cingulate gyrus, calming our anxiety and aggression, and stimulating our empathy. You cannot shoot an arrow at what you don't aim at. You cannot calm what you are unaware of. The price of this relaxation is noticing. The price of vulnerability is that we experience the full spectrum of human emotions, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the glorious to the grotesque. So no, Virginia, weeping during meditation is not an indictment. Before we conclude, I think a nice way to wrap this all up in a big red bow is for us as a team to conversationally recite an ancient meditation classic known as the Cuckoo's Song of Pure Presence, composed by Prahe Vajra of the Swat Valley, whom the Tibetans describe as Garab Dorje. One moment, if you please. Okay, here we go. The nature of multiplicity is non-dual, and things in themselves are pure and simple. Being here and now is contrivance-free, and it shines out in all forms, all ways, all good. It is already perfect, so exertion is redundant, and spontaneity is ever natural. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For Meditate Like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, together, let us sit and breathe and notice and relax. The most efficient way for us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce in our lower abdomen contains 3 steps. First, we rest our right hand in our left. Second, we touch our right little finger to its thumb, then do the same thing with our left hand. And third, we rest this assembly palms up in our lap. As we feel our diaphragm pull down as we inhale, we can notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. As we feel our diaphragm reset during our exhalation, we can physically relax and mentally release. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I do tend to check for questions about every 10 to 15 minutes or so. Good morning, Rivals Kid. The most efficient way for us to gently invite our subtle energies to gently coalesce at the crown of our head is for us to rest our left hand upon our right hand while touching our left index finger to its thumb, and doing likewise with our right, palms up in our lap. As we feel air enter our nostrils, we can notice perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. As we feel air exit our nostrils, we can physically relax and mentally release. The most efficient way for us to gently invite our real or imagined subtle energies to coalesce at our chest is for us to rest our left palm in our right while touching the tip of our left middle finger to its thumb and doing likewise with the right. Palms up in our lap. As we feel our chest swell with breath, we could notice whatever comes up, be it external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. As we feel our chest subtly sink, as gently we exhale, we could physically relax and to a certain degree mentally release. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tonight's evening recitation, explanation, and practice of meditating like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.